than a first half. Much better. But, you can't give up 74 points in the first half and win a lot of games in the NBA. Occasionally. All right? But not tonight. Very disappointing with another game tomorrow. This is the post-game show. Ryan and Sacktown will join me in just a minute.
Audio Jungle.
122-114, the final. Dallas beats Sacramento. Ryan in Sacktown, and yours truly here on the post-game show. Much better second half, but, it's a four-quarter game. It's not a 24-minute game, and certainly the third and fourth quarters you can hang your hat on, but, boy, that first quarter was awful. That's where the Kings lost the game, and they now have another game with Dallas tomorrow with Luka coming back. So this is going to be a very challenging game, but let's talk about tonight. Second half, that's the team you want to see more often, Ryan.
Yeah, Grant, that's the exact team you want to see. And sometimes it makes it all that more frustrating, not understanding why this team can't do that from the get-go. Why does their back have to be against the wall? But they've got to get that figured out. But at least we know they are capable.
All right. Fox led the way with 33 for Sacramento. Sabonis had 18, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists. Keegan Murray had 16 points off the bench. Davis with 9. And Monk with 8, Metu with 7. Dallas shoots 49% for the game and 42% from beyond the arc. Sacramento 54%, which is very good, but only 9 of 27 from beyond the three-point line. And Dallas wins. And I thought, even though the game from a 5 of 14 is not very good, but here's what's very good for Kyrie Irving. 25 points and only 14 shots is big-time production. That's very efficient. He made 12 of 12 from the line. And here's something else he did in this game, Ryan. He had 10 assists and only 2 turnovers, talking about Kyrie Irving.
Yeah, very impressive. Kyrie's mid-range game is absolutely amazing, and he knows how to use his body, especially when he gets down low, which gets him to the line. Him distributing the ball, that's scary. If he starts doing that, especially with Luka on the floor, watch out for the Mavericks. It's going to be real interesting for them.
Oh boy. Well, again, I'm well aware that they just got back from a 7-game trip. And you know what else I'm well aware of? I'm well aware of excuses in the NBA. All right. All teams go on the road and all teams play at home. And I am aware of that. We talked about that earlier in the week. It is sometimes difficult to start your engines when you come back from a long road trip. I'm very well aware of that. But, you can make excuses all you want to make yourself feel better. What excuse do you have for the way the Kings have been playing for the last 4 weeks? What do you want to blame it on? They're tired? Do you want to blame it on that they had a couple of road games? Do you want to blame it on? What are you going to blame it on now? Stop making excuses, okay? This team over the last 4 weeks has not played well. They haven't played well. And if you want to, tell yourself that, well, they lost because of this, because they were on a long road trip, or go ahead, make yourself feel better. But I deal in reality. I'm not here to make you feel better. I'm here to tell you the reality. And Ryan and I have been very honest about this. We don't think the team's playing well right now. Yeah, their record is very good. Yeah, they're third in the West. But being third in the West in February doesn't mean anything. Doesn't mean squat. All right? This team has a very difficult schedule coming up, and this type of basketball is not going to get it done.
No, not at all. It's got to be 4-quarter basketball, right, Grant? We can't have the highs and the lows. But, looking at straight up tonight, Harrison Barnes, right? We only got 8 points from him. That's a difference in the game for the Kings. The bench, we only got, I think it was like 24 or 25 points from them. There has to be more consistency. And you talk about the team not playing well. I'm going to point you back to one game, the Raptors game in Sacramento.
Mm-hmm.
The Raptors figured out a way to defend Sacramento very, very well that night. Probably the best that I had seen this season from any team. And it makes me wonder if there's a formula out there, because since that game, this team has not been shooting the ball that well. And it looks like they're trying to run them off the 3-point line a little bit. And we're still shooting the three
Yeah.
regardless.
The only exception
So,
was that 140 game against Houston, which again, they're the worst team in the league. So you're
yeah,
100% correct. Their strategy on Sabonis was very good. And it does seem like teams are starting to defend this team a little bit differently. And they haven't had an answer for it. I mean, this Kings team without Luka Doncic on the floor, okay, Dallas still has good players, but the Kings only scored 114 tonight. That's below their average. That's below their offensive average. They're at home, where, by the way, their home record is not very good. Their home record is now 16-12. That's not a good home record, 16-12, ladies and gentlemen. That must get better.
yeah, it's really backwards from the days the Kings were, in their heydays, right? They only
Mhm.
lost like a handful of games this season. It'll improve with time, obviously, as this team matures and the crowd continues to get louder and louder. But they have to, if they are going to be in the playoffs, take advantage of their home court, because by all accounts, we have the best fans in the NBA.
Yeah, giving up 45 points in the first quarter is horrendous, and things are starting to go south. They're not going to start to go south quickly. They already have begun to
They
go
already
south.
are.
This team is going south right now. That is not even debatable, in my opinion. They have a nice cushion, all right, and good for them, because they're going to need that cushion with their schedule that they have coming up. But this quality of basketball that we've seen over the last couple of weeks is not going to keep the Kings in the upper half of the Western Conference bracket. And here's something else you do not want to have happen. You want to make sure that you finish 1-6 in the West this year. Because if you happen to finish 7th and you have to play the Lakers and the Warriors, hypothetically in the play-in, I don't like that recipe for success. And I don't know what's going to happen, but that's a scenario. So you want to make sure that you have one of the top 6 spots in the West. And right now, the Kings, in my opinion, are going to have to play a hell of a lot better than they are now to be a top 6 seed.
Well, and it's not just the Lakers and the Warriors. I don't want to see the Kings in a 1-game scenario or a 2-game scenario,
No.
period. They've got to have a 4-game or a 7-game series if they're going to have any chance to get out of that first round, regardless of who they're playing.
Well, Anita, you got to remember Luka's going to come back tomorrow, and we don't know how he and Kyrie Irving are going to be. They have not been on the floor yet together, so they're going to be figuring one another out. But that also, you look at Sacramento now preparing for the game tomorrow. And by the way, it's not official that Luka is back tomorrow. We just assume that he is going to be back. But defensively now, you have Kyrie Irving, you have Luka Doncic, and you have to have a different game plan than you had tonight.
Yeah, well, look at the trouble they had on the pick and roll tonight, right? With Kyrie and some of the other guys on Dallas. You run a pick and roll with Kyrie and Luka.
Oh, boy.
My goodness. Pick your poison.
Man. Monk is hurt. What happened to Monk?
Looked like he tweaked his ankle, rolled it inside rather than outside.
Yeah. It didn't look that bad, though. Was it bad? Did they say it was bad?
No. I didn't get or see a report on the status of it. It didn't look terrible, but he was in some pain there for a second.
And you're right. There will be no easy games. Listen, if you have to get a gift to beat Houston, all right. And again, that happens in the NBA. I'm not trying to magnify that game any more than I need to, but the reality is the Kings have struggled a little bit. Now, I don't know about that. Keegan is a perimeter player. I mean, I think there is some truth to that.
I think
and the
that's a
Kings do get
conversation.
dominated in the paint. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that's a conversation about Keegan. Just like the Kings tonight, we see him play that terrible first half and they're not doing anything, but then we see the second half, they're capable. We see Keegan being capable in flashes of driving to the hoop, getting into the mid-range, but he prefers the 3. So yeah, there is a conversation there. It's going to come with, becoming more of a veteran and picking his spots.
Well, as far as crushing you got crushed tonight, really. I mean, I know the final score doesn't indicate that, but you got crushed tonight. So you can't be, in my opinion, it's not going to be any worse tomorrow night than tonight. And what about changing the lineup? Kevin Huerter not being able to make threes. Keegan Murray, I know you don't panic. I'm not saying you panic and you make wholesale changes, but you mentioned this earlier on the halftime, or you may have talked about it with us on the last post-game show. At some point, do you think about tinkering with this lineup a little bit to get this team playing more consistently?
Yeah, I think you have to, Grant, at this point. And you saw Mike Brown kind of tinker with rotations with the guys off the bench tonight. I would say before Malik got hurt, maybe thinking about putting Malik in that role
Yeah.
at 2 instead of Kevin, bringing Kevin off the bench. Another one would be maybe having Keegan come off the bench and then
Hmm.
have Trey Lyles step into the starting lineup. A little bit more veteran experience there, a little bit more rebounding to start the game.
We talked about the Kings not getting a reserve big at the deadline yesterday. Look at a guy like JaVale McGee tonight. 19 minutes. He had 11 points and 9 rebounds. He was a big factor for Dallas off the bench.
He was. And that's the kind of player where it's not going to take a lot to get them, but that small impact that they can have. You and Larry Krueger were talking about this with the Warriors championship teams, right? And they didn't value the back end of that bench and those
Hmm.
role players that they had, your Iguodalas, some of the other guys. And JaVale McGee is just that guy they're so valuable to the team.
All right. Well, we get a lot of questions. Is it too late for this, too late for that? No, there are players that are going to be available, if that's what you're asking, that are being bought out. And I think,
Yeah.
if you're Monty McNair, you got to be looking right now for some help in those areas. So we'll see. We'll see. But right now, you lose 122 to 114, and you have Phoenix, who went in and beat Indiana pretty handily tonight, and you have to play them Tuesday before the All-Star break after the
Right.
game tomorrow. So, again, I understand that the record is very good, 7 games over 500, and that is very, very good. Better be careful right now. This thing could collapse in a hurry. You better be very careful right now.
Yeah, and everybody upset that they didn't make a big move or a splash at the deadline. This is why.
Yep.
This is fragile. They have a decent core together that's used to playing with each other, but they've got to get back to what they were doing to get to where they are right now.
I don't know if I would want Patrick Beverley on the team. I really don't. There's a reason why Patrick Beverley is being moved all the time. There's a reason why Minnesota moved him. There's a reason why the Lakers have moved him. I knew he's going to be bought out. I'd be a little leery about that, to be honest with you. I really would. But we'll see. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if Monty is able to go out and get somebody that's going to be bought out. But then again, those players have to want to go play in Sacramento, such as a Reggie Jackson and some of the other guys. So, time will tell. We'll see. We'll see. But here's what I do know. That first half was awful tonight for Sacramento. And you talked about this at half. I give credit to Dallas. They did play a perfect half. 23 assists, 2 turnovers. That's unbelievable.
Rarely seen these days in the NBA. Yeah. The 3-point shooting seen. But yeah, absolutely credit to them for coming out and without Luka playing a heck of a game and really putting this game out of reach in the first half.
All right. So again, the final 122 to 114, and the Kings with the loss now go to 7 games over 500 with Dallas on the schedule tomorrow. We look at the updated standings in the West. Okay. So Sacramento is now 31 and 24. And to give you an idea how locked in they are, all right, to the 3rd spot, they're now 3 full games behind second Memphis. They're only 1 game up on 4th place Dallas. Okay. And a game and a half up on 5th place Phoenix, and a game and a half up on 6th place LA Clippers. And only 3 games up on the 7th, 8th, and 9th place teams, respectively, Golden State, New Orleans, and Minnesota. So you better hope, all right, that you don't get a bad stretch here, because you will tumble in a hurry in this Western Conference.
Well, Grant, arguably, we are in a bad stretch. Let's be honest about that right now. And Lydia, I want to respond to your comment. That's what Grant and I are talking about right now. This team is not where they were at the start of the season to where they built themselves to the 3 seed. So they've got to get this fixed. They are not right. And it's figuring out what the problem is. And unless we go to the buyout market, like Grant said, the pieces. So now it's time to play with your chess pieces.
I would find it hard to believe, and I hope I don't eat my words on this, that Dallas would play better tomorrow with Luka on the floor for the first time with Kyrie Irving. I would have a hard time believing that they're going to be able to score 74 points in the first half and control the game the way they did the Kings won the second half, so I give them credit, but I don't know. We'll see. Maybe this will be kind of a practice game for Dallas, and maybe the Kings can take advantage of that.
Yeah, Grant, I think you're going to see a little bit of a different game, right? It's going to be more dominant between Luka and Kyrie if they come out together. You're not going to have as many shots from some of the guys that went off tonight for Dallas
Hmm.
behind the arc. But then again, you have Luka and Kyrie, two of the top stars in the NBA. So if both of them get going, all bets are off.
Well, I can't judge Davion because he's only in a second year, so I would have to judge him after a third year. Very good defensively, liabilities offensively. That's in a quick thing. All right. So again, um, you are right, Harry. This could end up not working. All right, but we're not going to find out tomorrow. Okay, we're not going to have the answer to that question until we watch them play for a significant number of games. I mean, you got to be fair here.
Exactly.
All right, you got to be fair. You got to give them a chance, right?
Exactly. And everybody's got to take a deep breath too about the other teams in the Western
Hmm.
Conference. We're saying these teams are so much better now. Yet you're looking at them on paper. They have
That's
not
right.
played together yet. And
That's right.
so it takes time to build that chemistry with each other. So the Kings are still in this. No panic here.
All right. Glad to have you with us here on the post-game show brought to you by New Works Plumbing of Sacramento. Locally owned for over 20 years, New Works has a fix for you. Just go to sacserviceplumbing.com or call the number on your screen. That's New Works Plumbing. They've got a fix for you. And I also want to say thank you very much to all of you. We had over 10,000 people on the platform watching the halftime show, both here on YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook Live. So thank you very much. That's pretty amazing for a 15-minute show to have that many people. So thank you very much. But
Hey,
tonight,
Grant.
yeah, go ahead.
Hey, Grant, I think that was so cool that maybe we should ask everybody in the chat what you should rant about tonight for two nights in
Okay.
a row.
You know what? I
So,
like that idea. Let's do
okay.
it. And Ryan, I'm going to let you be the judge. You're gonna look at them and you're gonna decide. You're gonna
All
pick
right.
one out unless I see one that I absolutely love.
All right.
Okay. Then I'm gonna let you pick it out.
All right, sounds good. My eyes are peeled or looking at the chat right now. So get your rant chops ready.
Yep. I'm agree with you. I don't know why the Kings have such a difficult time winning at home. I'm not going to talk about Katie's commentary because I've never heard Katie commentate a game, so I can't rant on something that I am not aware of. I'm certainly not ranting on Monty McNair. Why would I rant on Monty McNair? Are you freaking kidding me? What
You
the
might
hell am I
rant
going
on
to rant
you
on
now.
him? Huh?
I said you might rant on the chatter now.
Oh my gosh. Well, that's a great point. Should I keep my glasses on or take them off? I don't like my glasses, but I have to see it to read the box score. So I can't. That would be. I could rant on that, but I want to get some more ideas.
Yeah, let's get some more ideas. I'm gonna
Yeah.
hit it with you. It's gonna hit me as soon as I see one. So keep them coming.
All right. The fans are great here. There's no question about that.
Yeah.
Uh, well, the All-Star game is what it is. It's 100% entertainment purposes. I know. Didn't you tell me that you thought the game was a lot better last year?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I mean, certainly there was the Kobe tributes that
Yeah.
boosted the ratings, but I like the new scoring system that they put in. I think that's fun.
Yeah. I don't know how anyone could rag on Monty McNair. If you are ragging on him, then you know what? Shame on you. Shame on you. Seriously. Absolutely. All right. Rant on riding the wave of 10,000 viewers. Well, that would be a positive rant. You're right. And positive rants are good, but they don't have the same effect as a negative rant. But I could do that. Absolutely. Rant about Boogie Cousins. I'm not going to rant about him. All right.
No,
I'm,
that's off.
no,
Yeah,
not going to do
you
that.
can save your boogie ones.
Absolutely. Well, what do you think? Should we panic or not yet?
No, not yet. Not yet. This team's sample size, they've proven it. You know what? This is why we don't panic. The second half tonight.
Yep.
They've shown that they had 2 or 3 24-second violations tonight where they caused against the Mavs, and they can play defense. They can. It's just, what do you have to do to get them to do it?
Yep.
What is that motivating factor?
All right. I am going to do a rant, and I'm going to choose this one. All right. And there's a reason why I haven't put this moron up on the screen. Let me tell you something right now. If your life is so sorry ass, all right, and you got to join a show like this where we're talking about a basketball team, and all you want to do is act like an ass and show everyone in the stream how freaking stupid you are. And hey, look at me. Maybe Grant will put up my chat and I can show everyone what a freaking moron I am. Brandon, that would be you with a capital M. You are a moron. You are an idiot. And I wish I had a device here where I could just block you and just go, boom, gone. Bye-bye. That's what I wish I could do. But I don't really have that technology. And if I do, somebody's going to have to teach me how to keep your sorry-ass messages off my damn computer screen. You know what, Brandon? I want you to do me a favor. I want you to go where there's a mirror, all right? And I want you to stand in front of the mirror, put your phone down, and I want you to point, okay? That means you're pointing at yourself. And I want you to say, Brandon, Grant's right. You are a freaking moron. You're embarrassing. So I will do a rant on the morons and the trolls that have such a miserable life that they get off on joining a live stream for 20 minutes or 30 minutes and just can see how stupid we can be. Hey, enjoy the rest of your life. Have fun. I wonder what your family members think. Do they go, oh my God, I don't want him coming to our party. I don't want him coming to Christmas or Thanksgiving. Really? I got to be around this moron, this idiot? Yeah, Brandon, my rant is on you. Now, you know what Brandon's doing right now? He's on his phone telling all of his guys, oh my God, Grant is doing a rant on me. I can't believe it. Oh my God, Grant's talking about me. Yeah, I am talking about you. You know what I'm talking to you about? You're an absolute embarrassment. And that is my bonus rant on the post-game show today. There we have it.
Brandon, my man, Grant just saved you $25 on Cameo. So
Yeah.
pull your phone out.
Oh my God. Oh my God.
Oh, that was good. Whoever
Oh, my
suggested that was good. Well done. I
Hey,
feel
Brandon,
like that was too.
Go ahead.
That was low-hanging fruit, though. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
That was kind of low-hanging.
Yeah. You know what? My pleasure. My pleasure. You know, I'm happy to do that for you. Donald, thank you very much. Cody, thank you. I'm happy to make the good fans, the fans with brains in their head, I like to make them very happy. All right. And here's another one that I like. Thank you, Grant. You said what we were all thinking, like always. Not always, Tim. Not always. Okay. Just sometimes. Just sometimes. All right. Was that okay? Ryan, I stepped on your toes a little bit by picking the rant instead of letting you pick it out?
No, that was perfect. That one, You know what? That is on me. That slipped by me. I would have gone right there. It's got me fired up. I want to rant now. So, but I need a good reason. You guys got a mini one the other night about Katie and the broadcast team.
Oh, yeah. Do Ryan next. How am I going to rant on Ryan? I can't rant on Ryan. Are you kidding me? I'd be freaking lost without Ryan. He's great. I love Ryan. I can't rant on you. What am I going to rant on you about?
That'd be kind of funny, though.
Yeah.
Like the Ryan roast.
Maybe sometime.
Yeah.
I could do a rant on Kevin Huerter's, but here's the deal. I've been doing the NBA for 32 years, right? In 32 years, you know what? I don't ever recall talking to a player, meeting a player, or watching a player that missed a shot on purpose, unless it was at the foul line where you were down by, 1 or 2 points and there was a half a second left and you had to miss the shot in order to get an offensive rebound to try to win the game. That's the only time I've ever seen a player in the NBA miss a shot on purpose. So I'm not going to rant on Kevin Huerter because he's out there busting his ass. By the way, Kevin Huerter was 60% shooting in this game. He was 6 of 10. Yeah, he missed his threes, but he was 6 of 10. I'm not going to rant on a guy that's giving an effort and playing hard because he's missing shots. I'm never going to rant on a player that's missing shots. Now, I will rant if I feel the shot selection is a poor one. I don't really have a problem with Kevin Huerter's shot selection. He's just not making shots right now.
Yeah, you know what? If you are putting effort out, I don't know if you saw the video that Kevin put out of his routine. He hit, a ton of threes and then hit them basically all over the court. If you have effort, then you're not rant worthy. But when you're just, not putting out the effort, then you're starting to get into that territory. I saw one here. Hey, I forget your name. Because this is like the second or third time this has come up, all right? I think it was Miguel. Miguel, is that you? I'm pretty sure. Miguel, do I look like I have a box of water behind me that I'm about to get in and try to escape out of? Miguel, do I have a saw with 2 assistants that's going to cut me in half? Do you see any handcuffs? David Blaine? What freaking century are you living in? I remember growing up watching David Blaine when I was 8 years old. David Blaine? You can't come up with anything fresher than that? How about you disappear, Miguel, with your David Blaine references?
And we
Not
got a
funny,
Grant's
but
rant. We got a Ryan's rant. Wow. I like that. Ryan's rant's got a nice tone to it. Ryan's rant.
yeah.
You know, Grant and rant, that goes together too, but Ryan's rant is pretty darn good. All right, so I'll ask Ryan this question soon, right?
Yes, very soon. Next week. Next week, we will have information on the website for you to get your shirts. And maybe we might just be wearing one on the show too.
Yeah, yeah. Did you know that David Blaine was on the Jimmy Fallon? I've never watched Jimmy's show. I wouldn't know who was on there, you know? So there we go.
I'm not up that late. I've got an 8-year-old.
Yeah. Co-host and co-rant. Gotta love it. Perfect. I love it.
There we go. There we go.
Ryan's getting there.
The best.
See, this is what happens when you hang out with Grant Napier over a period of time. Your personality changes, okay? All right. And Ryan's wife's in the background going, "Hey, let me tell you something. I like Grant, but don't ever be like Grant. I don't want my husband getting attacked by our viewers and our listeners, all right, because he's rude and he's obnoxious to the fans." And
this Grant Napier, he's a bad influence. He's got you shaving your head.
Oh my God. Oh my goodness. What's wrong with me? All right. Here's some other scores tonight. The Pistons beat the Spurs. The Suns get a road win in Indiana, 117-104. They're now 31-27. The Sixers beat the Knicks 119-108. Boston cruises over the Hornets. Boston is now 40-16. Jazz get the road win in Toronto, 122-116. The Heat edge the Rockets 97-95 in Miami. Yes. And the Grizzlies knock off the Timberwolves 128-107. Cavs a winner in New Orleans 118-107. And the Thunder. How about the Thunder tonight? 138. The Blazers 129. The Bucks beat the Clippers 119-106. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Do not take your eyes off the Oklahoma City Thunder. They are my sleeper team in the West to get into the dance.
Yes, sir. They are playing such great basketball and sneaky good basketball too. Speaking, we're talking about them, but you talked about a couple teams from the East. Do you think it's a 2-team race between Boston and Milwaukee right now?
I do. I have no confidence in James Harden in a big game. And so I would say it's those two. I did not see Jimmy Butler hit the game winner. Miami's really a completely different team than they were last year, you know?
Much different.
I don't really understand Lydia's comment that Herter is not Halliburton. No one ever said he was Halliburton, did he? Did they?
Might have probably Brandon in the chat.
Yeah, probably. So, I don't know what the hate is on Herter. He's just not shooting the ball well from 3 right now, but I'm with you. I don't understand that either. That's fans just, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, okay, is the real freaking deal. Yep. SGA is really, really good. We saw that in Sacramento a couple of weeks ago.
Yep. And you know what's really impressive about him? He leads the league in free throw attempts.
Yeah.
At the entire NBA.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, I'll tell you what else you might want to do this weekend, and that is take advantage of the weekend brunch at Bennett's, Roseville, and Sacramento. Eureka in Roseville, Howe and Fair Oaks in Sacramento. They have a fabulous menu, prime seafood and steaks. My favorite seafood is the redfish with the sauteed spinach. And then if I'm doing steak, tough to beat the bone-in ribeye in the prime New York. I have had the Porterhouse, outstanding. They have prime fillets. They have hanger steak. It's all there for you. Bennett's. And don't forget, they're coming to Rockland soon to the Blue Oaks Town Center. That's Bennett's, big-time King supporters as well. Get to one of their locations and enjoy yourself a fabulous meal. Fabulous. You had the redfish too, didn't you, recently?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's actually what my wife had on her birthday.
Uh-huh.
Oh, it's so good. It's so good.
That is good. Yeah. Yep. Oh, we got people still laughing at your rant, it says here. Wow. All right.
All right. The rant brothers.
Donald says he's not hating on Herter. Okay, well, we appreciate that. I wouldn't hate on him just because he's not shooting well from downtown. I would say this, okay? I've been talking about this for several weeks. I do think the Kings are spiraling downward, and I don't I think they're going to make the playoffs, but I don't think that they are going to be a top 4 seed. They have a bone-in ribeye, which is phenomenal. They do have ribeyes. I recommend the bone-in ribeye. It's outstanding. All right.
Don't
All
sleep
right.
on the
Do I
hanger steak.
prefer prime rib or steak? I prefer steak. I'm a big steak guy. I like prime rib, but give me a well-cut steak. Love it. Absolutely. Absolutely.
How do you take your steak, Grant? Because I can't do the
Medium.
people that medium. Okay, because
Yeah,
there
and
is
I'll go medium.
nothing.
If I'm doing a certain cuts of beef, I will do medium rare, but I do medium. Anything over
Okay.
medium, I can eat, but it's to me medium or medium rare. But medium is the way I order it 95% of the time.
Yeah, if I'm cooking out steaks and maybe John's watching or listening, I know he's a big barbecuer, and you come to my house and you ask for something well done, if it's a steak, I'm just
Yeah.
gonna grab a boot out of the closet and get you a fork and a knife. Don't
Uh,
disrespect a nice cut of meat.
Steak with beer or wine, both.
At the same
Absolutely. You know
time?
what? You know what? I never drank wine. We used to go on Napa trips, right? And we
Yeah.
go with like 8, 10 people. And I would bring in the car, I would bring a cooler of Coors Lights. And I never drank wine, never drank white wine or red wine. And then when Vladdy became the general manager and hired Peja, we would go out to dinner quite often on the road. And Peja is a wine connoisseur. And he's like, "You don't drink wine? Buddy, you're going to drink wine tonight, buddy. Get him a glass." So I started drinking red wine, always red wine with Peja. And I started going, "Wow, this is really good." And he's like, "Duh." And he goes, "See, you like it, don't you?" I go, "Well, I'm not crazy about it." And then after a couple of years, I now enjoy red wine. So what about you?
Nice.
I'll tell you this. I always ask people about like, does it make the food taste better or different with wine? I'm not that guy. Okay, I'm not that guy. Like, where like if you walk into a restaurant, a really fine restaurant, and it tells you which wine pairs good with the
Right.
meal. I'm not that
Right.
guy. Give me a freaking cheeseburger from Burger King. All right, I'm not that guy. All right, so not a big deal. I'll tell you one thing though. I'm not drinking any wine or tonight because there's nothing to celebrate with this Kings win, is there?
Nope.
I mean this loss. I mean, there's nothing. I will take some solace out of the fact that they in the loss. I thought they looked more like the team I'm expecting to see in the third and fourth quarters. I was encouraged with that second half.
That's what you take from it. It's a positive, but it's also one of those frustrating things as a Kings fan because you see that they can do it. But yeah, that's the positive you take away, and it's better that it happened in the second half because now it can roll over to the first quarter against Dallas tomorrow again.
All right. Again, the Kings and the Mavs tomorrow. Ryan and I will be with you again tomorrow at halftime and after the game. I think the Kings are going to end up 6th in the West, which is fine. If you told me right now, would you take 6 and just not play the rest of the season? I would say, yeah, give me 6. I really would. The danger is anything below 6 when you have to play in that play-in. That's a very dicey situation. Look at last year. New Orleans got in at number 9, and they went into the playoffs.
Here's what I would tell you. I think, and it's only going to be fitting because of what the last 16 years have looked like. I think the last game of the season is going to come down to whether they are in the 6th seed or whether they are in the play-in. And I think they are going to ultimately end up in the play-in.
Okay. I wouldn't surprise me with the schedule they have and based on where they're playing now. All right. I have to ask you this question.
Yeah.
Because it is a possibility. What would happen if the Kings collapsed after the All-Star break and we're in a top 10 seed? What would the narrative be? Would this be a complete? I know what it would be. It'd be like, why the hell did they extend Monty McNair? Why didn't he make a deal at the deadline? Same old Kings, blah, 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 blah. I don't think that's going to happen, but it could happen based on how bunched up everyone is. And if Fox were to go down or Sabonis, this team would have some serious issues. What would happen if we're talking after 82 games and there's no more basketball for the Kings?
So if there's an injury, I don't think it's as bad.
Okay.
But if the Kings collapse, and you guys in the chat, you can agree or disagree. I think this will be secondary to 2002. I think, and a lot of people around here have
I
never
agree.
let go of 2002. That collapse in not making the playoffs after the excitement and the wave that they have been on all year, it's just something the fans will not let go. I mean, as a fan, then looking at going into a 17th season without
Yeah.
making the playoffs with 2 All-Stars,
Yeah.
it would be impossible to swallow.
Oh, all right. Well, I hope that's not the story. Again, I don't want to get way ahead of ourselves here.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I think the reality is that this team is good enough to be a top 6 seed. And thank you very much for checking that out. It was a lot of fun. The Kings to me have enough talent where they should be at the worst 6. I really believe that. Barring as you said, an injury that we can't forecast.
Yeah, and even if they did collapse, I don't that wouldn't be on the front office or Monty McNair. I mean, he put them in a position to succeed. You got to remember, it's ultimately up to these players to execute, and they're not executing right now.
Mhm.
Grant, they're just not.
All right. So we'll be back tomorrow. I want to thank everyone for joining us here on the post-game show. Ryan, let's hope for a better outcome tomorrow, my friend.
Yes, sir. Thank you guys all so much, Grant. Thank you as always. Have a good night. Okay.
Good rant by Ryan too, buddy.
Thanks, bud.
All right. I hope you all enjoy your Friday night, and we'll see if they can bounce back tomorrow. And I'll be here with Ryan on If You Don't Like That.